Then I'm gonna hit record, and you and we're gonna get down to business.
I love business.
I love business. You think you're good at business?
I'm very good at business.
You got a suit
Majored
and
in
tie?
business.
Ooh,
hmm
business major?
Yeah. Yeah, business major.
You know the
I
jokes they
forgot
make
that's like,
about business majors where it's like you walk into a classroom and they're just like pointing at a chalkboard and it says like profit equals income minus expenses and everybody's like taking notes. It's just like something really easy. Business majors are dumb, especially you if you're watching this and you're a business major.
yes, I agree. Drop out.
Hello! Welcome back to Double Dip Draft Season 7. I am your host for Week 2 of the Violet Division recap. My name is Spood, coach of the Southtown Sandslashers, and joining me
Is White Loaf, coach of the Loafville Lanterns.
and we are looking at 4 big matches at the beginning of Violet Division. Week 1, not as lopsided as we saw some other divisions, especially, notably Teal ended with 3 6-0s. I believe in this division, there was only 1 6-0, which was Jason over Woody.
Yes.
But we did see we saw some upset. Milo over Cabral has, that's going to have ramifications all the way down the rest of the season. Nobody's really that comfortable. Claire starting off with a loss to Aurora, not like a super surprising loss, but still, starting off 0-1, not great. And relate.
Yep.
So, you want to just
Couldn't
go
be
ahead and... Couldn't be me. No, right now you're kind of... You're doing pretty good. You're doing all right. Okay, well, why don't you introduce our first match of the Violet Division Week 2?
Our first match is... Let's see. It is the Maryland Manectrics versus the Hartford Honchkrows.
Hartford Honchkrows. Who coaches both of those teams?
Claire for the Maryland Manectric. Oh my god, I can't speak.
Whoa, okay.
Whoa. Editor, cut that out.
Editor.
Editor. Claire is of the Maryland Manectrics, and Jason is of the Hartford Honchkrows.
Nice. Yeah, Claire, like I said earlier, coming off of a rough loss to Aurora. She's still kind of coming to grips with her team. She's got a very offensive sort of setup sweeper mentality, and it was very much shut down by Don Dozo last week. So maybe it opens up a little more this week into Jason?
Yeah, not having a Pokemon that has Unaware is a pretty big boon when so many of your Pokemon just want to click Dragon Dance. And be faster and hit harder.
Yep.
That being said, Jason does have some very scary Pokemon, most notably King Gambit. Very good at playing the guessing game of if you want to attack, I'm just going to Sucker Punch you. But if you don't attack, then you're going to get Kowtow, Cleaved, or Iron Head.
Yeah, King Gambit is the swan song of I'm losing this game, I'm down 5 Pokemon, and I'm still going to win because I have King Gambit that's now just doing obscene amounts of damage with Sucker Punch.
I need dudes. I need more men.
Send dudes. Yeah, and let's not forget that Toxapex and Zapdos are both here. Toxapex can haze, Zapdos has static, so if there's not protective pads in the mix, certain contact moves risk paralysis chances. And obviously Toxapex is Toxapex, and you can set up +3, and you're still probably not going to break it in one shot unless you're really that guy.
Yeah. Alongside that, though, Claire does also have a deceptively bulky team, having both Registeel and Wo-Chin.
Yeah.
Is pretty fat.
Wo-Chen being able to Terra takes its real downside, which is its Grass Dark typing, and mitigates it quite a lot, and actually enables it to do stuff like the other Treasures of Ruin, Its physical defense being something that, compounded by, I think it's Tablets of Ruin, is this one? Yes, this is Tablets.
Yes.
Shenpao is Sword of Ruin, Chiyu is Beads of Ruin, Tinglu is Vessel of Ruin, and Wo-Chen is Tablets of Ruin. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm so good at
and
lore.
Tablets, I think, has is it physical attack or special?
It's physical
I think
attack.
it's physical.
Yeah, it's physical attack. Because Tinglu has the one that have special attack. So
that's right.
Wo-Chien, yeah, I mean, if you Terra this thing, it's really scary. And we also know, with the benefit of hindsight, and you would know from Team Preview, if you were playing this game, that Wo-Chien is Terra Poison, which does quite well at complementing its grass dark typing. Obviously, Poison's weakness to ground is offset by grass, and grass and dark's weakness to bug is offset by poison. So it can get you into some, pretty tricky 50-50s.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and get started, huh?
Yep, let's get right into it. So leading off with Azelf, and Smeargle having Burning Bulwark is always funny.
Yes, that is Gouging Fire's signature move, which also she has Gouging Fire, which is kind of funny. So,
yep.
She goes for an early spore. Early spore into the lead Azelf. Azelf showing its mystical power, I believe is what it's called.
Yes.
That's a
shout
move
out
from
Legends Arceus.
Legends Arceus, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, just kind of like a, I hit you, you hit me back.
Yeah,
kind of feel right now.
Jason's trying to find some better positioning. Claire is either protected pads or she manages to dodge static twice, so that's pretty good on her end. She goes for the gamer move of upper hand, and Jason just turns his brain completely off and countdown cleaves instead. So it doesn't work.
Yep.
Why don't you explain what upper hand does?
So upper hand is a move that if your opponent clicks a priority move, you go first, always, no matter what. I don't remember if it also counters extreme speed. I don't think it does.
I believe it does, because what happens is it's kind of like a fake out, but it only works into priority moves. It's fighting type, so it especially works as a King Gambit counter.
Also, shout out to Toxic going through Protect. Or, Burning Bulwark.
Burning Bulwark, yeah. There's other moves kind of like that. It's hard to remember off the top of my head, but, a lot of the times those specialty Protect moves don't actually cover for things that aren't attacking.
Yeah, which sucks, but, it is the game we play. Thankfully, I think, every Pokemon in existence gets fucking Protect.
True. Jason makes some pretty good doubles there. Goes for the Rock Blast into this Wo-Chien, and you can see the
live Wo-Chien reaction.
Yeah, Wo-Chien is not too pleased with that Rock Blast, insofar as it doesn't care that it happened at all.
Yeah. No, it is literally almost back up to full health now.
Claire smartly has Protect on this thing, and now she pops the Terra Poison.
Yep. And at this point, looking at Jason's team, aside from this, doesn't really have a whole lot to hit Wo-Chien with, and got greedy and is now dead.
Yeah, Foul Play taking his attack stat, which is now doubled, and hitting into his defense stat, which is now lowered, pretty much just immediately sunk him.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jason shows up to the barbecue with something he cooked. He's got Metronome on his Azelf.
Yeah, I mean, I think, honestly, as fun as Metronome is here, you keep clicking Mystical Power, and, you hit everything except for this, but even then, you get higher damage because of the stab, and you get to increase your special attack.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta have that dog in you,
No, I agree.
I liked it. I mean, it actually did roll Scorching Sands into Terra Poison Wo-Chien, so it actually would have done quite a bit of damage and potentially got a burn. So that would have been huge value if she didn't Protect into it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now we just have, Toxpex and Registeel. Registeel can't really do anything to this. It's trying to set up, but, Jason is fine with clicking Haze, and now we're just kind of... we're just kind of here.
Once again, Claire is like, I'm going to hit my setup move. Stop me if you dare. And then Jason goes, I brought something for that. So I will stop you, actually. and he did.
Yep. And he's still clicking it.
Yeah, I mean, similar problem to what happened to her last week against Dondozo. I mean, this thing isn't unaware, but it is just a Toxapex that can haze you. So unless you can kill it really fast in one shot, which Registeel very much cannot.
Yep.
Jason actually makes a good switch there. Goes Terra Ground, barely lives that body press. Gets on a pretty nasty Terra Blast Ground.
Love the fake sash.
Yep. Now King Gambit is in. Claire decides that she does not want to play that game.
Yep. I don't think Registeel was faster, so I really think Kowtow Cleave
was probably
the play there. But I respect going for the Sucker Punch, not risking, maybe just enough speed with Spexton to outspeed King Gambit.
Yeah. I mean, in that scenario, like, Registeel is, 218 max. Yeah, actually, that's a speed tie.
Oh, wow, okay.
So yeah, I would get the hell out of there, absolutely. Honestly, they both click the right thing. I would click Sucker Punch if I was Jason, and I would switch if I were Claire.
Yeah.
So, definitely solid. Also, Claire, picking Dark Pulse over Ruination pans out quite well with the double flinch. Actually being the way that she was able to finally break Toxapex, which is very unfortunate if you're Jason.
Yeah. And again, just Wochin just sitting there. I definitely could have Mystical Powered there, but again, it wouldn't have really done a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Just would have been more chip.
Yep.
But I do also respect going for the Tri-Attack cheese and trying to get like a para or burn or something.
I mean, he's playing to his outs, which is the right thing to do. And that +2 Kowtow Cleave, my god, does so much damage. Ugh. Unfortunate that Wochin lives on just a little bit. I mean, any amount of chip would have been nice. Very good sword stance on that protect, and here in this scenario, Claire tries to fish for the double protect. Jason is able to make the diff a little tighter.
Yep.
But, this thing...
Burning Bulwark.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
And that's all he wrote. So Claire does get the win on this one. Jason, unfortunately, falling to Claire's team, but not without softening up quite a lot of it, quite a lot. That looked like a game where if that Leech Seed had missed or he'd been able to kill the Wochin faster, King Gambit probably could have just reverse swept the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. No, it was much closer than it seems.
Yeah. So, and that's just kind of the nature of King Gambit, right? Like a 4-0 is as close as a 1-0, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, well played, for sure, by Claire. She's still kind of getting used to the team. She's still, I would say, somewhat recklessly setting up those Dragon Dances, those Amnesias, those Body Presses into things that are pretty telegraphed counters. But, she won, so what do I know?
Yep.
Moving into Game 2. Hey, we have got Mass of the newly rebranded Treasure Town Togetics versus Woody of the not very newly, not very rebranded Schaumburg Salamences.
Yeah, so Woody coming off of a pretty rough first week, getting 6-0'd is never... Or no,
he didn't get 6-0'd. So Woody got 6-0'd.
Never mind.
Woody got 6-0'd. Mass lost to IDM by 4. No, by 3, actually. So he didn't have that bad of a first week. I mean, losing to IDM is not that bad, but obviously, both of these players coming in at an 0-1, so you could definitely get the turnaround here and stop bleeding from your week 1 loss, hopefully.
Yeah. Wait, Woody didn't come off or fight Mass? Oh, or fuck me. Woody didn't fight IDM. Mass fought IDM, I thought.
I know. Woody was the one who got 6-0'd. So Woody got 6-0'd, Mass fought IDM got 3-0'd.
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah, Woody got 6-0'd by Jason.
Yes.
So
sorry.
Woody definitely
starting the first week off.
Yeah, Woody definitely wants a win here. I mean, obviously you're always going to want to win, but especially Woody, coming at it from an 0-6, or rather an 0-1 -6. Man, there's something in the water today in the Violet Division. Excuse me, we're just both kind of scrambled.
Yeah.
Woody definitely wants to try and make up some of that differential. Mass looking at this as an opportunity to maybe bounce back into the positive. I mean, Woody, with all due respect, has not always had the highest performing games, and as of last season, the bar became to 6-0 Woody to keep pace with the rest of your division, and with Jason having led the season with another 6-0 into Woody, Mass definitely feeling the pressure to win this with a pretty wide differential at that.
Yeah. And Mass does have a pretty scary draft, having both Dragapult and an Emerus. Just right off the bat, both are very terrifying sweepers.
Corviknight, one of the best defensive Pokemon of all time. We gotta pay our dues to Toxapex, but don't forget about this bird.
Yeah, no, I mean, before there was Pex, there was Skarmory, and, eventually Game Freak was like, hey, what if we took Skarmory, but we made it a little bit fatter?
Yeah, a little bit fatter, gave it some better moves. It loses spikes, but it gets, I don't know. Well, it gets pressure, which is nice. Toxapex, or rather, Skarmory does use Sturdy, but as kind of like a suicide lead, like Spike Setter. Whereas Corviknight is more built for the long game. It's iron defensing, it's roosting, it's body pressing, it's brave birding, it's bulking up. It can power trip. It can U-turn. So like Corviknight does a lot of stuff, just a little bit better than Skarmory, and it kind of holistically adds up to a package of a bird that sticks around for a long damn time.
Yeah, and there are a few other like underappreciated Pokemon, like Morpeko, very fun little physical attacker, very easy to like get set up with like good speed thanks to Aura Wheel. And like, oh hey, I resist electric. Oh, doesn't matter because now it's a dark type.
Right. Literally cycling through makes it very hard to switch into. Ideally you're gonna have to either run your own Protect or you're gonna want something that can resist both electric and dark, which is not the easiest thing to find. Although Woody does have that in Roaring Moon, so there's that.
Yep. There is that. And then finally, both Frostlass and Rotom, specifically Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash kind of been a staple ever since Gen 4. Frostlass, very good, kind of like a little suicide lead, getting spikes up very early, or being able to be a decent special attacker, or even just going for, Rogue Destiny Bond every once in a while.
Well, actually, fun fact, a little trivia thing for you, is that Frostlass has equal attack stats, so you can also run it physical if you want to. It does get Ice Shard and Icicle Spear and stuff like that.
I always forget that. Does it get triple Axle?
It might. I know it gets Poltergeist, which was something that it really sorely wanted for physical sets, was like a physical good ghost type move. And Poltergeist being added in Gen 8 made it a lot better at that specific thing. But most of the time, yeah, you're going to be seeing this as like a utility, Spike Setter, Destiny Bonder, sometimes an Icicle Sharder, or Ice Sharder.
Yeah.
Woody's team is pretty much roll your fucking face on the keyboard, the game. Like, between Quackaball and Roaring Moon, like, those are Pokemon that just go, when they get set up.
Look, I will say this when it comes to Woody, my man loves hyper offense, and I gotta be real, he's so base for that.
He's very base for that. And he's not like one-tricking here, like, those physical offensive Pokemon like Quackaball, like Roaring Moon, they do struggle into Corviknight, but he does have Lantern and Houndoom, which can both take care of it, even if it starts to Iron Defense up. And Metang, actually, I think a pretty solid bring. It's a little bit weak to potential like ghost moves off of like a special Dragapult set. But it can Terra, it can run Eviolite, and it gets good enough coverage that it can actually kind of swat that away and pressure Enamorus at the same time, so...
Yeah, it's a pretty decent like tank, honestly. Like I think its attack stat is like only like 105, which like it's not the highest, but that's still not a bad attack stat. Like Dragapult makes do with just a base 100 special attack, and like
yeah,
look at how good that thing is.
Quite decent.
Every generation. Well, the 2 generations it's been in.
Right. All right, well, let's we talked about that team preview for a while. Let's jump in.
Yeah.
The question on our mind is generally speaking, can you get the 6-0 on Woody? So let's see how Mass does. Now, Mass sets up, he's actually got some physical bulk on this. He's running leftovers. He's got Dragon Dance. So, he is positioning this, I would say, a little bit risky into the Metang. You're risking getting, like, Terra Blasted Fairy once it reveals.
Yeah. But, so far, Woody has not clicked that, and instead is just getting Phantom Forced over and over.
Yep.
And at +2, like, there's nothing that outspeeds this Pokemon unless you have priority, like Bullet Punch, which,
Bullet Punch it twice. And then Mass makes the worst play of all time and goes into his Fairy type on the Bullet Punch that he just saw.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that play, but, maybe it was to lure out the Bullet Punch and then switch out to see if maybe there's like a band or something.
I don't know. I wouldn't. That's just going.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a misplay, regardless.
Lantern comes out. It could be a potentially tricky Pokemon with its dual potential immunities to water and electric. That makes it pretty scary with the Terra because it can get into some pretty good positions.
Thankfully, with Hydro Pump hitting, we do know that this thing is most likely Volt Absorb.
Yeah.
But
or it could be Illuminate.
Wave. Or it could be Illuminate, that's true.
Yeah, he clicks Thunderwave into 2 electric types, by the way, concurrently. So,
Yeah, no, not the best play.
He did do that last week as well into Toxtricity, but the Toxtricity Terra normaled that turn, so it looked smart. But this is what he's showing, like, no, actually, I just like the Thunderwave electric types.
Yeah. It's my new thing. But yeah, no, going for knockoff, because at that point, Aura Wheel is just going to trigger the Volt Absorb.
Yep.
And this thing is sitting pretty comfy right now, except for that, you know.
Yeah, this thing is a double.
Lucario.
It's probably a band of Lucario, right? I mean, it's Bullet Punch, it's Extreme Speed. You know. It's
there's no way it's not. Yeah.
That was a bit risky from Woody to do this. Even more risky, I would say, for Mass to just go for a slow U-turn. Like, you are putting yourself into kind of a scary position if this thing can, like, Aqua Jet you. But no, Woody goes for the setup, goes for the Aqua Step, into the Destiny Bond, and bada bing, bada boom, there they go.
Yep. And now Corviknight is kind of free. Like, neither of these Pokemon can really do a whole lot.
Corviknight loves his body presses here.
Yep.
Knockoff doing 50, but obviously it's going to do less than that now that the item is gone, and so, you know, Master decides to trade that, doesn't want to risk, you know, potential crits down the line if he tries to do Roost. And that Bullet Punch almost kills. Not quite. You know, he needed a crit there, and he did not find it. But I think locking into Bullet Punch was the right call.
No, I agree. It hits everything except for Rotom, and I think Rotom is already, like, a little low.
Rotom's chipped. I mean, it's at like 80, and it has lefties, so you're probably still not really going to break through it, but, like, I don't know.
It hits everything else.
Worst case scenario in the best case scenario is that you still, like, make it a 1-0, and then your differential is still even better. And, I mean, that is a win for Mass, for sure. You know, you can be happy about that. That brings you to 1-1, but you only won that 2-0. That was really, really close, and it does not do your differential any favors. So you gotta, if you're Mass, you gotta cross your fingers and hope that Woody starts putting up a good fight this season, because comparing your 2-0 to Jason's 6-0, you are now at a 4 diff disadvantage against him.
Yeah. No, it's not great.
Kind of the Woody dynamic. I mean, it's he's a stressful fight. I know that a lot of people say that Woody is one of their most stressful fights of the season, because not only is the expectation that you need to win, but you need to win by a lot. And it's, you know, if you fumble, if you're not playing sharp, like, you know, Mass made a couple of misplays here, did a couple of, like, slow, inattentive plays, wasn't really considering, like, the game state. And he found himself at a 2-0, potentially even a 1-0 into Woody, which is just too low. You just need to do better than that. But why don't you tell me what happened next?
What happened next is Cabral 095 of the Slinging Aegislashers going up against Aurora why can I not remember? Hoensbroek Haunters.
Woohoo!
I don't think that's how you pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
It's pretty close. I mean, it's... Aurora's gonna kill me for even trying this, but it's, I believe, Hoensbroek Haunters, something like that. Hoensbroek Haunters. But I've given up on even trying to do that correctly, so I just say Hoensbroek, kind of the you know, Americanized, bastardized version of that. USA. I'm sorry, Aurora. You do the fucking recap if you're so damn smart.
Editor, just fucking take Aurora saying her team name and slap it over ours every time.
Can you do the Google Translate, like, AI voice during the, the pronunciation? Just slip that in. I think I'm actually going to be the one editing this, so I guess I could do that. Reminder to me
get
later.
to work, editor, man.
Do that. Okay, Cabral versus Aurora. Actually, kind of a storied rivalry at this point. Cabral has not been getting a leg up on beating Aurora, so it's not a rivalry in terms of, like, an even head-to-head, but they do play a lot. It feels like they play a lot more than you might expect.
Yeah.
They had a pretty meaty battle, I believe it was the last time they played, where Cabral got parried for, like, 10 straight turns or something like that. Like, they're not like straight turns, but there was a lot of paralysis shenanigans that were slowing the game down by a lot. You know, there was an over 100 turn game. And, you know, Cabral, he really sinks his talons in when he's playing these games, and he does go to the time. He does, you know, try to play to his outs, even when it's a 100 to 1 chance he's going to win, which is good. That's a champion's mentality. But it does mean that sometimes you're going to be Aurora and you're going to have to keep swatting this guy away for 100 more turns. So,
yep.
And I mean, looking at this matchup, like, Dondozo's in the game, so, you know, could happen. You could find, like, Dondozo into, like, a Calm Minding Vaporeon, for example, and then maybe they're just stalemated for 100 turns, or, you know, stuff along that, you know, idea. Definitely doable. That being said, though, I mean, Aurora does have, like, Pincurchin and Iron Valiant, so this could also just end in, like, 5 turns.
Yeah, no, Aurora, I do think, has one of, if not the scariest draft, in all honesty. Like, being able to have Electric Terrain and Iron Valiant both on the same team, like, pretty reliably, is just a terrifying concept. And Cabral does have Metagross, which, like, you know, thank God can Bullet Punch it.
Yeah.
But that's still, like, it's still Valiant at the end of the day. Like, unless this thing is, like, banded or at least has, like, a +1, like, I don't think it's gonna kill.
That's true. Full. And I mean, like, looking at this team, like, Metagross Bullet Punch is really not particularly good into Dondozo, into Iron Treads, you know, into Spiritomb if it's, like, physically bulky, it can threaten it with a burn or a foul play. Even Regirock, if it Terras, like, doesn't even care. Even if it doesn't Terra, like, honestly, what, it's base 200 defense, like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, like, you know, Bullet Punch, like, it's gonna hurt, but, like, it's gonna be, like, a light bruise.
Yeah. So, this is a tough matchup. You know, Cabral's got some answers. You know, Gliscor is pretty good, but, like, specifically into this matchup, like, Spiritomb really bullies his physical attackers. Valiant just puts so much pressure on every turn. If you get one turn wrong and Valiant winds up in under Electric Terrain, then you pretty much have to pick the sack. You know, your Metagross is great into Valiant, but it's has such a hard time versus other stuff from Aurora that if you're Cabral, you're going to need to play this really aggressive. You're going to have to make a lot of doubles. You're going to want early hazards up. You know, you're going to have to commit to your game plan and execute, or you are just going to get smothered quick.
Yeah, no, you have to basically find your way to have to, like, your front foot out at, like, all times.
Yeah.
Like, you can never let Aurora have an inch.
Yeah. So let's see, did Cabral make the deep run? Now, this is, I think, a pretty solid opener. Aurora goes for the early knockoff. You know, Cabral could have gone for, like, a Protect a Scout and get his,
Toxic.
God. Yeah, Toxic
Poison Heal.
But you see that eject button, Pincurchin just lets Valiant in, and like I said, I mean, you know, pick a thing to die, because Valiant's now in with special attack Quark Drive, and it's gonna kill something.
Yep. Good knockoff, you know, like, at that point, like, Aurora doesn't want to take that. Bullet Punch.
Yep.
Does make a good switch to get Leavanny burned instead of Metagross.
Yep. Spiritomb was holding an Iron Ball, by the way, so, you know.
We're cooking something.
What was going on? But, I mean, like we were mentioning this team preview, like, Aurora, you know, Cabral needs some really strong positioning, and Aurora has actually been playing this pretty much textbook perfect this whole time. You know, she's, you know, she, like, snipes that with the Ice Spinner. You know, she spins away the webs before they could even potentially be a problem. You know, she's knocking off a ton of items. Cabral has been put on such an insane back foot so fast that he just has to keep sacking just to not auto-lose, and it's making it really tough.
I think another big problem is, like, he keeps switching in specific Pokemon, like, Raw, when, like, you know, at that point, I feel like Leavanny probably should have been the one to go out and just, like, take the knockoff and be killed.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that it's a special attacking Leavanny, and it's the only way you can potentially even hope to break this Dondozo.
Yeah,
so
which is another problem.
Yeah. He also did have, so it was a Swift Swim Overquill. The idea was that he could, like, Rain Dance up with Leavanny, get Overquill in position to go really fast, and then, you know, you could maybe have that do a bunch of damage. But, you know, losing the Damp Rock on the knockoff before getting the Rain Dance off meant that the rain ran out before it could do anything, and then from there, I mean, this is just death by a million cuts at this point.
Yep, no, it was just really bad positioning. Can't do enough damage, especially with the burn now. Regirock just, comes out for free.
And I mean, if Aurora's Dondozo hadn't been crit, this would have just been a 6-0.
Yeah. But I do respect the going out on your own terms there at the very end.
True. That is the screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yep.
Very unfortunate. I know Cabral wanted that really bad. He didn't have a lot of time to prep these, first couple of weeks, and he paid for it. He needed to slow down, calc more stuff, have a better game plan. But I think, even behind all of the woulda, coulda, shoulda, like, this was a hard matchup into a player that had his number, and she was playing hot that day. So
yeah,
there's only so much you can do.
No, 100%. Like, Aurora just has a very scary team, and, like, she just had a amazing lead. That unfortunately kind of dealt with most of Cabral's Pokemon, honestly.
Yeah. It was just really hard. It wasn't impossible for Cabral, but it was really hard.
Yeah.
Well, hey, why don't we talk about another game, huh? So, okay. Let me paint a picture for you. All right, we've got Milo of the Canadian Cottonees versus IDM of the Brussels Espeons. IDM has just come out of his week 1 beating Mass. He beats him with a 4-0. It's fine. Or I think it's a 3-0, right? He beats Mass with a 3-0. Everyone else in the division who won a game actually performed better with a higher diff. Milo, on the other hand, also coming off of a win, but his win was into Cabral. And so Milo has just made an upset. IDM, not playing from behind. Obviously, he's 1-0 plus 3. But, he's definitely looking to widen that differential gap, get a little bit more extra credit compared to people like Jason getting his early, Woody 6-0 and stuff like that. So this match, differential is incentivized, but Milo, feeling pretty good, right? Coming off of a pretty strong early win into somebody who he was not expected to beat. Got a little early momentum. Starting off 1-0 is always going to put a pep in your step. And, I don't know. Like, looking at team preview, this looks pretty doable.
Yeah, no, I mean, having Kiram is already, like, a pretty, like, valued pick here, assuming it's Scarf. Skeledirge, like, being able to just, like, kind of sit on, oh god, what is it called? The engine.
Reveroom.
Reveroom, thank you. Araquanid is incredible in this match, though. Honestly, like, very few things actually threaten it. I would say the biggest threat is Salamence, honestly. And everything else here is kind of whatever. Annihilate obviously can be scary, but Annihilate is scary to any Pokemon that doesn't flat out resist Ghost or immune to it.
And I mean, even Skeledirge can actually, if you don't power up the Rage Fist, like, it's unaware, it can soak, those +2, +3 unboosted Rage Fists, and it can burn right back. So as long as Milo doesn't feed him some early Rage Fist buffs, like, Skeledirge can also kind of handle Annihilate.
Yeah. And then Shaman is, like, just a scary Pokemon. Like, you look at it, like, compared to a lot of this team, and, like, Sandslash hits it, Reveroom hits it, like, Annihilate really doesn't care that much because it's deceptively specially bulky, but Shaman does hit quite hard with, what is it, like 120 base power Seed Flare, and it gets pretty good coverage in the form of, like, Earth Power. It can run Terra Blast as well, so at any point you can Terra to just cover whatever weakness it might have, and deal with whatever IDM throws at him. Yeah.
Shaman's really good. I mean, having a Pokemon that's base 100 across the board, right? Like a 600 base stat total Pokemon that can Terra, that's always going to be pretty good, And like, Seed Flare, ridiculously good move. Obviously you can potentially get some, what do you call them? You can get some, like, juicy air slashes. Like you said, you can, knock people around with good Terra coverage. Base 100 speed is fairly decent, so you can, slap a Scarf on that and get up, above most of your peers, or you can throw Specs on that thing and really bully this team under webs, which, you have Araquanid, one of the best web setters, so, Milo, like, at team preview, like, you can really pull something off here.
Yep.
So let's see, I mean, does Milo get the storybook game, or does IDM assert his dominance once again?
So I do like the Araquanid lead. It is the one that makes the most sense. I don't know if I love going for Liquidation turn 1 against Annihilate, just because, like, I mean, yeah, you have this now where it's bulking up. You've now boosted Rage Fist to be 100 base power.
It's actually 150 now, right? Or no, he's only hit it once, right?
Yeah, no, he's only hit it once. It's just 100.
Yeah. And, I mean, like I said earlier, you could have just gone hard into Skeledirge and gone for the burn. Like, I still think you should have put up, like, Webs turn 1, switch into Skeledirge, go for burn turn 2. And then this is a pretty bad play. Like, Milo throws away his Kyurem and gets effectively 0 damage. He gets 1% net damage on that for his S tier. So,
yeah.
Not very nice.
That's pretty big. We do get one good pair, one really lucky para there.
Yeah. But I mean, that's after several turns of no para, so like he was due something eventually.
Yeah.
Very smart from IDM. The Lumberry on that makes it even more of a pain.
Mm-hmm. Is that crit?
Huge crit.
I did nothing.
But
damn.
Then, ooh, that ugly. Oh,
the fake sash.
Fake sash again.
Yep. Love the switches here. Like he's getting like every read right, and then the vacuum wave.
Yeah, vacuum wave. Again, just it's the priority.
Yep.
Milo switches out here. Now Primarina's starting to calm mind up. Its speed being lowered is nice, and also Milo does catch the Terra there.
Yeah. No, predicts the Terra Steel goes for the Earth Power instead of the Seed Flare.
Mm-hmm.
Love to see it.
And now, I mean, this thing, like, it may be setting up its special defenses, but it lost its resistance to water. And I don't know what that Calm Mind was. I think that was some greedy behavior. Because even if that defense drop hadn't happened, that liquidation's still 2-shot.
I think I do remember IDM saying something about, like, oh, wait, I forgot I Terra Steeled. Which, like, that's on you, bro.
I'm also shocked that Metal Burst was still slower, or it's still faster even after the web.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I am surprised at like the knockoff. Mm-hmm. I kind of expected maybe more something like Rabbit Spin, but after seeing the balloon on Rev Room, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it would be nice if your Primarina wasn't that slow, but it doesn't actually matter into the rest of these matchups that much.
Yeah, I will also say that was a pretty big like misplay there. Like, once you see the Rev Rooms like set up there, like it can't really click a whole lot to really threaten Araquanid.
Yeah.
Except for a poison move.
Yeah.
Cobalion was very free at that point.
Now this, I don't know if I agree with this play from Milo. I probably would have, if your specs, just like switch out into Cobalion, try to get like a strong fighting hit, sack into like whatever, and then you can come back in and start spamming those specs Earth powers. But Milo, Milo kind of does it, but missing the Seed Flare really, really sucks. And then missing the Focus Blast double sucks. That would have absolutely put it in range of the Earth Power.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, this was a very unfortunate in-game.
Yeah, I think if Milo had positioned just like a little better, he could have avoided the bad RNG, but no such luck was afforded. And if there is a way for IDM to win, he will find it, and it will happen. So,
Yeah.
IDM, claiming not to have the best luck in that game, I would respectfully disagree.
Yeah, you get like one para. Like,
getting full parried one time out of like 4 turns out with your parried Pokemon, and then dodging a Seed Flare and a Focus Blast that either which would have like lost your game. I don't know. Seems a little insincere, but what do I know?
Yeah.
At any rate, IDM still pulls it off with a 1-0 victory over Milo, but Milo making him sweat.
Yeah, a 1-0, especially against IDM, like that does say a lot, honestly.
It does. There was, like, honestly, into that, and, like, God, if Milo had just played it a little tighter, not thrown away that Kyurem, not, made those, like, appropriate switches, right? Like, into Cobalion on the predicted, poison move from Rev of Room, he could have preserved so many more game pieces and really brought that so much closer. But IDM, chewed him up, spat him out, and said, like, try again next week. Like, you're not going to get a win on me unless you're playing perfect, so.
Yep.
But as it stands, I think still a good performance from Milo, right?
Yeah, no, honestly, like, aside from that, like, last part, I think this is probably still my favorite game of the season so far.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and mind you, as of the moment of this recording, we are currently on week 4. We're a little behind.
We're a little behind, but we're working on it. We should get caught up hopefully by the end of this week.
Yep.
We'll see. But still, that was really good. Milo, like, genuinely, right? Like, upset over Cabral and then only losing 1-0 to IDM. That actually positions you pretty well early on in the season to make a deep run, to maybe even skim playoffs. Because, this is Milo's second season. He did not make it into playoffs his first go-around. But this time, like, with that win over Cabral, he might just take playoffs from Cabral if he's not careful.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, very impressive, like, second season so far for Milo. But speaking of standings, as of week 2, let's start going over those.
Yeah, give me the top 4. I'll give you the bottom.
All right. So at the tippy top, we've got the Hoensbroek Haunters, Aurora, sitting at a comfortable 2-0. No one has been able to quite break the hold of the combination of Dondozo and
Valiant, yeah.
Valiant.
She's also got a +9 differential, so again, pretty cozy.
Yeah, no, like I think that is tied with Teal with like the highest.
Oh yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Scoots is as of week 2 at a 2-0 +9 as well. So, but give me the next 3. Let's get it.
Yeah. Yep. We've then got Brussels Espeons, IDM, also 2-0, but much lower differential. Like differential takes a huge dip going to 4 from 9. Which it hurts, especially when in the later seasons, or the later part of the season where it does start to become differential heavy. We then got Canadian Cottonees Milo at 1-1 with a differential of 3, not far behind. Sitting pretty comfy and in a pretty good spot, honestly. At least mentally, only having 1 win and having it be very close. Hartford Honchkrows Jason also at 1-1, staying at differential of 2. Not quite as strong as a hold, but also with the threat of King Gambit always in the pocket. No one is going to count Jason out anytime soon.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, right? So bottom 4, we've got Claire Marilyn Manectrics in 5th. She's at 1-1 and a dead even 0 differential. Mass in 5th, or rather in 6th, at a 1-1 -1 differential, so only barely behind Claire. And then 7th place, we've got Woody of the Schaumburg Salamences, 0-2 -8. And then in dead last, as of week 2, we've got Cabral of the Slinging Aegislashers at an 0-2 -9.
Pour one out for my boy.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, there's definitely some positioning at play here. I would say I don't think Milo or Jason are particularly comfortable because there is currently 4 players at 1-1. So
yeah.
It's a pretty even split, same as Teal actually at the time. There's 2 2-0s, 2 0-2s, and then 4 1-1s. So there's actually a lot to lose and a lot to gain. I mean, these standings can just seismically change week to week.
There's no reason to get too comfortable yet.
Definitely a bit of lopsided differential. I mean, Aurora sitting on 9 is pretty nice, but it's not the craziest gap ever. The problem is the fact that the last 3 differentials, they go from -1 to -8 to -9. That's rough. That's a big jump down. Still anyone's game. I mean, as of week 2, right? You're only 0-2. You could still feasibly end a season 5-2 and leave first in your first in your division even.
Yeah.
So you can't really count yourself out, but as of right now, I mean, Cabral really feeling the sting from the Milo loss, and Milo's still kind of partying it up. 1-1 +3, and you've already got your IDM fight out of the way. Well, we will take that to the bank.
Absolutely. And again, the mental game, you gotta be feeling pretty confident now.
Oh yeah. But I think that's pretty much all she wrote. If you want to, poke around, support the channel, I'd highly recommend you check out the companion videos to this one. You can skip Scarlet. That one doesn't exist. But Teal is a great video. You should go check out the Teal Week 2 recap.
Yeah, week 2 Scarlet, go ahead and just skip that one. Don't worry about that. Come back in week 3.
Don't sweat it. But, don't come back in week 3 either, honestly. You just don't even have to watch the Scarlet recaps. They don't exist.
Just skip any matches that have the name Southtown or Sandslashers in them.
Yeah, if you just completely forget those happened, that would work best for everybody.
Yes.
Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for joining me here today. Nick of the Loveville Lanterns, I have been Spoon of the Southtown Sandslashers, and you've just been dipped! That's the new thing. That's the new thing we're trying. Now you've just been dipped.
Yeah. Yeah. You gonna stick with that one?
You've been dipped.